May the 4th and May the 6th, two very important days we need to watch closely because the announcements that will be made on these days will be life-changing for millions of people. I have all the details and everything you need to know right here in this video. Let's get right into it. May the 4th happens to be a Wednesday. This is going to be the day that the Federal Reserve comes out and announces what they're going to be doing with interest rates going forward. Well, we'd have a little bit of a glimpse going forward into what the chairman of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, is thinking and what they're actually going to grab up in the next FOMC meeting. By the way, FOMC stands for Free Open Market Committee. It's a committee that gets together every 6 weeks and they determine what they're going to do with interest rates, as well as they kind of figure out what the economy is doing and who knows what else they do behind closed doors. But anyway, they're going to be meeting once again on Tuesday the 3rd and then wrap up their meeting on Wednesday the 4th. And then they come out and announce what the ultimate preliminary objectives are going to be going forward as far as interest rates and what they're foreseeing with the economy. Why is this such a big deal? Why do we care about this? Because the whole purpose behind the Federal Reserve right now, or we could hope so, is to get this inflation under control. They have the ability, they have the tools, they have what they need to get this inflation under control. Here's the problem. A few weeks ago, the last time they met, they raised interest rates by 0.25%, a quarter of 1 point. The whole idea behind this was to slow down inflation. It didn't go anything, and 1/4 of a point is not going to do anything. But here's what they're talking about. Potentially a 0.5% rates, 0.5 or 50 basic points, possibly even there's some talk about 0.75 or 0.75% interest rate hike on the 4th. That could be huge, okay? They could be pretty big and historic. For the Federal Reserve, generally they only raise rates at about a quarter of a point each, and every time 25 basic points. If they did a 0.5 point or 3/4, that could be pretty historically for the Federal Reserve. So this may slow down inflation a little bit, but the problem is it's going to take multiple of these 0.5 point hikes, or even 3/4 of a point highs, multiple of these over the next several meetings that they have through the rest of this year to actually get inflation under control. Just one more little rate high is not going to do a ton to inflation. It may slow it down a little bit, but they need to be a little bit more aggressive, and they're probably going to be going forward. So on one hand, this may actually slow down inflation, slows these prices down a little bit, but the problem is it's going to raise interest rates on essentially everything else out there. So if you have any type of debt, whether it's an auto loan or credit cards or an adjustable rate mortgage or a home equity line of credit, any of these types of loans generally have an adjustable rate. Therefore, as they raise interest rates, the Federal Reserve, all of the rates will also be moving higher. So at one hand, we may be paying less at price when we go to the store for inflation. But on the other hand, we're gonna be paying more in interest and we go forward on any type of outstanding debts. However, if you are somebody who has a fixed rate mortgage, you're fine. It's not going to do anything to that rate. That is a fixed rate. That is the whole purpose behind a fixed rate mortgage. But if you do have any adjustable type rates out there, they will be moving higher. You may have already seen this a few weeks ago as they already adjusted rates of a quarter of a point. You probably saw the interest rates pump up a little bit. It's likely to be pumped up again in a much bigger way in a matter of days. So we may be paying less for the milk, the loaf of bread, and the eggs that we are buying out at the store. But at the end of the day, we may just be paying more on interest. As we've talked about so many times in previous videos, the reports are showing right now a lot of people are starting to flow more balances on their credit cards simply because there's no more money to go around. Therefore, they need to flow more balances because they need money to make ends meet, and the way to do that is to put it on credit. Credit cards are great to use, but at the same time, they can also be very, very dangerous because the interest rates are so incredibly high, nearly 20% for most cards across the board. That is what's going down on Wednesday. We'll see what the Federal Reserve does, and it's going to ultimately indicate what they do with interest rates going forward, and it's going to impact virtually everybody. There's probably a small handful of people out there that this will not impact in any way, shape, or form, at least immediately, but for the most part, it will impact everybody because most Americans have some kind of debts. They're all adjusted according to the federal funds rate. This will also translate into higher fixed rate mortgages as well going forward. However, all of the rates, as in the rates that are paid off of mortgages, are all paid off of bonds, as well like treasury notes, stuff like this. So the point is, as interest rates continues to rise and all this going forward, that will also translate into a higher fixed mortgage rate going forward as well. Just in the last 2 months alone, rates have gone up on mortgages by 2%. That's a lot. We are sitting at 5.25% right now. That's pretty high considering 2 months ago we were sitting at 3%, 3.5%. It's gone up a lot. May the 6th is another key day that we've got to watch very closely. This is the day that the next non-farm payroll number is going to be released. This number is released once per month and is released on the first Friday of the month. That happens to be Friday, May the 6th, and it is going to be another big day and another big announcement, because anytime the Congress or the administration comes forward and they want to approve additional stimulus checks, money, programs, benefits, they look at the employment rate. Where is the employment rate sitting? Is it trending higher? Is it trending lower? Are more people getting jobs? Are more people being laid off and losing their jobs? What is going on with the unemployment rate? We are going to get that official reading on Friday, May the 6th. So this will be the non-farm payrolls number. It is released at 8:30 a.m. East Coast time, and that number will be released. So we have to see if it comes in higher or lower than analysts are expecting. Again, this may indicate a little bit into what Congress may be thinking going forward, what the administration and the president says, as well as far as the whole economic situation going forward. And do they foresee the potential impending recession that all these economists, analysts, and Wall Street people are talking about? Or do they see butterfly, roses, unicorns, rainbows on the horizon, right? We won't know until Friday and see what all of these talking heads come out and actually discuss. If the Federal Reserve comes out and raises interest rates too fast, guess what happens? They collapse the economy, they collapse the stock market, real estate market hits the floor.